I
Maybe this
love
could be the
bye.
start. Maybe this will be a spark. Maybe this could be the start of something. Maybe this could be the day. Maybe it'll stay the same. Maybe this could be the start of something.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning and happy hump day. It is Wednesday, May 13th, and I am here in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. And we decided, we being me and the team, to really highlight Mental Health Awareness Month, which is May, the very merry month of May. Tongue twister. And today, again, which this might be a normal, today, again, we are here with my wonderful sister friend, Mrs. Tanya Simmons Reid. If I had one of those, bum, 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 one of those, one of those little horns or something to say, welcome. Good morning, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for our segment of, it's not share the load because that's the theme of the conference, but
R-
it's, I can't
Right.
remember what the title is. That is so terrible. Let
Well, I can tell you the
Tell
title.
me.
Breaking the Silence.
Ah,
Mental health matters more than ever.
breaking the silence. Okay. Breaking the silence. Mental health matters more than ever. And I want to say something about mental health too. Brain fog is real.
Mm.
Is that a menopause thing? Like it
It
just
is a
like,
it is a symptom. This is menopause symptom.
girl, because, and you know
One of
what?
the many, I should say. Let me just say that.
One of the many. Well, one of the things that I think about is that if you got so much going on and you don't have organizational structure, then brain fog will become even more prevalent. I know you agree with that.
I definitely do. Give yourself grace.
I'm giving myself grace. Okay. Well,
Set
Tanya,
all those alarms and notifications on your phone. That's when you can use your smart device.
use your smart device. You know what? And I'm such a pen and paper kind of person
Me
anyway.
too.
I
Me
just
too.
prefer lists and all of that. But I know that it was very important to me that we share and talk about just really focus in and hone in on mental health, not just in May, but all year round. But also because you're coming to Chicago, July.
Yay. We definitely
Woohoo!
need a horn for that one.
Yes. Ba, 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 ba. It's coming to Chicago all the way from
Everywhere.
Jersey.
We bring in
Well,
people from everywhere. Yes.
everywhere to the Sound Minds Mental Health Awareness and Solutions Conference. And I'm really excited about that. But we don't have that much time. So I'm going to go ahead and
Okay.
talk. And you know what? We're being very, it's candid conversation. We're just very open. And me and Tanya, our sister friends, we've talked for many times. And the way God connected us was so amazing. We thought it was for one reason, and it wound up being a total different reason. And so she has become my family, our family. And likewise, I mean, the same with her family has become my family has become her family, so we're really just grateful. But to get into the conversation, I wanted to know if you just share a little bit for a few minutes about, your conversation and your mental health journey in regards to just life.
Yeah, I mean, it came quickly. When I think back, we all deal with mental health throughout our lives. It's about the conversations that we have in our families to make us aware. And I really honed in after my son came home in a manic episode, which, of course, I didn't know that term then. I just knew that something wasn't right and took him to the pediatrician for what I thought was, a sick visit. That's where I knew to take him, and was told to go directly to the crisis center and get him help. And so that's where, this journey began. From there, he came home for a couple days, but it didn't go anywhere, it just escalated. And so we had to take him to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. And from there, the journey continues. And
Yeah, you
so,
know what? I want to pause you there because I want to say that when I start off, I say your mental health journey. And so I do know that everything that you and Dwayne have gone through affects your own mental health.
Absolutely.
So I think,
Absolutely.
of course, the theme of the conference is share the load, and
Mhm.
we're breaking the silence, of course, to really the stigma behind mental health journeys. And you know what? I'm trying to find the correct terminology because sometimes everyone has a mental health journey, right? Don't you
Mhm.
agree with that? Everyone has a mental health journey.
Absolutely. Whether
Every
it's good or bad, I mean, but
right,
you have mental health challenges
mental health challenges. Okay,
that we
or
don't necessarily want because you may not have a diagnosed mental illness, but you're having mental health challenges. That's
exactly.
how how I see it.
And that's the same way I would see it as well. So with that being said, I really just want to talk about, during the toughest moments of some of the things you all have had to walk through, what specific people really made a difference in your life, or what actions or things that you take charge of to say, hey, this is how I have coped, this is how I have been able to walk this out healthily. What specific actions or specific people helped you along the way?
I would say specific action is opening our mouths and letting people know we needed help. And not keeping it to ourselves. A lot of times you're like, we don't, this stays in here. We're not going to talk about it. But I had to be vulnerable and share. And one of the first people that I told immediately we were going through referred me to her sister, who's a psychiatric nurse who was able to be on every call and advocate for us. We didn't know where medication levels should start and how high they went. And, you just kind of do what the doctor recommends. But she was there on every call virtually to challenge them and to say, why are you starting at this level when this medication starts at this level? Why don't we start there and see how it goes, opposed to just starting him at that level? So just opening your mouth and sharing, finding, someone that you can talk to, not feeling the shame, not wanting to say, oh, we can't tell anybody what's going on because we don't know, this is embarrassing. This is, all those things that can hit you. And the enemy will get in your head. Let me just tell you, as parents, what did you miss? Or, you know, where did you fall short? Or why didn't you see this? Out of
Yeah.
4 children, how did you miss, and so there are different things that you have to also, use, be honest with yourself, be honest with your feelings. And as a couple, as husband and wife, we had to lock arms and lock in together and do our best to be on one accord and to continue loving each other through all the pain and confusion and guilt and all of that. And
Yeah.
so um that's what I would say, is just be vulnerable, be open to opening your mouth and sharing, because you never know who's there. We had no idea that Lisa had a sister that did this. We've known Lisa, she's very close with us, but to know that her sister did that, it was like, wow. And then we would tell somebody else, they would be like, okay, here's a resource. Okay, here's a resource. And
Yeah.
we were willing to use the resource, right?
Yeah.
People can give you resources all day long, but do you actually take action in that resource and make
Yeah.
that call or visit that website or, use that information in a way that can help you?
Before a crisis,
Exactly.
before a major crisis. And I wanted to say that one of the things that I was thinking about was, I had a family member who, and I do know you asked permission to talk about people, so I'll say a family member who has a mental illness, and they stayed with me. And so one of the things that I wanted to do every time they got a job, even though they were older than me, not by much, but they were older than me, I wanted to always go to the job and say, hey, you know I wanted to advocate, to say, hey, this they're able to perform, this is their credentialing, but I just want you to know that they have a mental illness, because I wanted them to be protected. Do you understand what I mean? I like wanted this, I wanted that to be, it's almost like hiring someone with a disability.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And I felt like I was responsible for letting people know. How do you feel about that? Like advocating that, and that's a tough one. But
In that way, in the
yeah, an
employee
employment
side,
work.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's tender. We started it, like, with our son, we don't do that now because he has to handle that, and he didn't want us to. He wanted to be responsible for that, but we try to let him understand that this can you just should let people know, because I do know situations where there are people working with, I say, diagnosed mental illnesses, that who are given grace and understanding. If they're hospitalized, their job is still there for them, right?
Yeah.
They know, because sometimes you just disappear from work. My son,
Yeah.
it's because when it hits, and everybody doesn't understand that. Also, when they're of a certain age and they're the one applying for the job and they're the one dealing with the manager and all of that, then you can't always step in. But I definitely recommend that if someone does have a diagnosed mental illness, and they're willing to be open about it, and they've accepted the diagnosis, right? That's the key, that you've accepted it, and you know that you can still live your best life through it. But letting your employee know about it, I think, is great. I think my son, some people see it as, okay, this is my job, this is my responsibility. You're treating me like a baby. Why do you have to tell them my business and this and that? And so I do recommend respecting that. Um, they've got to go through their process and their journey as well. So it depends on what they've accepted to you. Someone may say, "Hey, Nisha, can you please advocate on my behalf and talk to them, since you're my guardian, or I'm living with you. I just need help in that conversation. Maybe you could join me with my manager or something." I don't know, but
Yeah.
I
It's
think
a
it helps.
tricky situation, for sure. Well,
Mhm,
I want to just, for the sake of time, just speak briefly to this, and that's that words matter.
mhm.
And I really want to talk about that, the assumptions of what people say or what they don't say that can hurt people. And, of course, we know, like, even with suicide, we don't say they committed suicide. They lost their battle to suicide, or they to mental illness, or they died by way of suicide, or whatever the case may be. With the words, what is your take on that, and how could we really let people know and educate them on how to change because of their words matter, not just toward suicide, but just toward mental health in general?
I think it's being more empathetic. There are times we say words just because everybody else is saying them, but we have to be more in tune with, how can my words affect somebody? And it may not be that somebody in your group per se has the diagnosed mental illness, but their loved one does. I'm very sensitive to the word crazy, as you know. you know, that word bothers me, when people they know that someone has a diagnosed mental illness, and they're like, they're so crazy. Like, what is wrong with them? What? No, please don't say that. And I make sure I let people know, even when they say, like you just said about this, the suicide, how you position that. Our words matter. Even the words we speak on ourselves matter. Words are powerful. They can get in your being and impact how you view things. And I think, being educated, right? I think it's also how you share. Do you mind maybe saying this instead of that? How we approach people, because sometimes
Yeah.
people can hit you hard with it, and that's not necessarily going to get you the result that you want in anything in life, when you're trying to
Yeah.
change a way of thinking, and that we've just kind of grown up with, and we don't even realize, oh wow, you're right, I could say that differently.
Yes, yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I think when I wrote my book, Relationships Driving Me Crazy, but God's Love Heals, one of my family members who has a mental health journey shared with me that was very controversial, and that they felt some kind of way about it by the time it was published. But the
Mhm.
point is that I literally put in the book, I am not speaking in terms. I kind of define what I'm identifying as crazy, but that becomes very sensitive to me. Like, I cringe now when people say certain words, because and sometimes I educate people. Like, I don't mean to be rude. I say, you know what? I just want to share something with you. I used to say commit suicide, but I learned in Words Matter that people don't commit a crime when they do that. They are literally walking through mental illness. And I think it's our job, like you said, to
Right.
it's our part and our responsibility, and that's that being that voice. And so with that being said, I want to go ahead and just tap into the Sound Minds Mental Health Awareness and Solutions Conference, which is coming to Chicago. This is the 6th year, right?
Yes,
It's a
16
sixth
year
year
old.
but I want you to just say your why did you tap into just launching this whole experience? And it is an experience.
It was honestly, it was God. When I was going through everything, I asked God, why us? Why our family? What did we do? And he was like, start a conference and help other families, because I'm always like, why are we going through this? What can come out of this? How can I turn this? What do I turn this for good? And so he put on my heart to start this conference to help other families, to help other individuals, communities, advocates, allies. It's an advocacy initiative. It's how can we be better advocates for ourselves, for our families, and for those in our community. And just raising awareness by hearing from licensed professionals, those with lived experience who are willing to sit on a panel
Yeah.
and be transparent and share their story and hopefully give us more information on how we can be better. I remember when Noah was first hospitalized and there were lights under the hospital bed, and he was telling us, everybody get down, they're diamonds. We got to get the diamonds. Get the diamonds, everybody. And I'm like, please, you got to get in the bed. Now, there are no diamonds under that bed. Get in the bed. The doctor is coming. Now, as an advocate, I would say, okay, you get in the bed, we'll watch the diamonds. The doctor, because we'll keep an eye on the diamonds so they won't go anywhere. That's advocating. I'm not trying to go against him. I know that
Wow.
not his right state of mind at the time. And his reality, which was one of our themes one year, rooted in reality. His
Mm-hmm.
reality was that there were diamonds under that bed. So why would I try to change his thinking? As an advocate, we don't want to cause them to be more agitated and to just to escalate. We want to help diffuse and calm the situation. And so what does it matter if I agree with him and we're gonna keep an eye on those diamonds?
Wow. That's powerful. I'm working in the recovery space with mental health and substance use. Really, I've pretty much had some video footage playing in my head while you were saying that, of some experiences and some scenarios where parents have had that scenario and they just don't know what to do. And I think that that is so. That's why conferences like this are so important. That's why showing up in places where you can really have some understanding and to know that you're not alone. I think that was one of your themes this year. One year, was it? You're not alone. I think I've heard you say
I mean,
there's so
yeah,
many.
that's really anyone or organization dealing with mental health, and they're going to tell you you're not alone, because that's one thing you do feel, whether it's a family feeling alone, a mom, a dad, the person who's going through it feeling like I'm the only one. So that's just a common theme throughout the mental health space.
Absolutely. That you are not alone. And I think that that is so huge. And then don't walk in shame,
Hmm.
because shame is a big stigma that keeps people silent or keeps people very judgmental, because that part, people are
Yeah,
judging you, and you can sit back and judge other people. And I think about when I go to the grocery store sometime, and one of our grocery stores in Chicago, they're very big on hiring people with special abilities. And I
love
love it.
that.
I love it so much. And they are the most kindest. They have a special ability,
Hmm.
which is defined as disability.
Hmm.
But guess what? They are some of the most kindest people. And I just like, Lord, some of us don't have a mental illness journey or some type of disability, but we are mean and non and evil and not friendly. And it just made me think about that we really need to be more intentional, because who do you think you are?
Right. And the people that are mean, a lot of times, I trace it. Well, I put it back on trauma, something they must have gone through in their
Yeah.
life, and
Yeah.
I just try to pray for them
Have
because
grace.
it's not something is in their has gone on in their life, even with
Yeah.
people with road rage or people that, I always say just because somebody's going slow in front of you, don't blow your horn and stuff. They might be going through something. They might be dealing with something. Just always give people the benefit of the doubt if you can. I just think
Yeah.
that we all are going through something, all of
Yeah.
us, no
Yeah.
matter what level it may be on today. We are all going through this journey called life. And that's why our theme this year is share the load, learning, lifting, building together, because we are not alone. And if we continue to walk alone, I just encourage you to not walk alone. Walk with someone, some people, but we have work to do, even as advocacy. But we can't be the best advocates for others if we're not in the best state ourselves.
Yes, 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 yes. Well, I know that there are so many things coming up, and Sound Minds is one of them. That is to share the load, and I will share that again. But I want us to be intentional about understanding that um, don't allow the spirit of shame to keep you quiet. And don't just say, oh, they're just acting that way. Be intentional about seeking professional help, even at the doctor's office. If you notice symptoms and signs at an early age, don't just sit back and be like, oh, my child has just got, what is it, ADHD or something, or,
Mhm.
just you're self diagnosing. No, check on
That part.
your
Yeah.
kids. You
Yes.
want to expound on that, Tanya?
Yeah, I mean, there's power in the diagnosis. Like we're saying, it's not they have a mental illness. They have a diagnosed mental illness. And diagnosis is power. Go and find out what is going on. If you feel there's something going on, there's power in that diagnosis. It opens you up to certain services, to certain solutions, certain things. I remember my mom told me a story. I was diagnosed with I don't know if it was ADHD or ADD when I was younger in elementary school, and they wanted to put me on medication. She was like, no, no, and never put me on it. I'm
Mm,
trying to get diagnosed again just to make sure, because I know how I operate. But at the same time, I think like, well, what would have happened had she accepted that diagnosis and gotten me help?
mm-hmm.
Sometimes as parents will say, oh no, I'm not putting my child on that, or I'm not doing that with my child. Your child is really God's child first.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Because then
if
when
you
people
can
had
help your
dyslexia,
child
when people,
function better, do it.
yes, when people were dyslexia and they didn't know, and they're thinking their children, what's wrong? Why can't I? And they found out, oh,
Mhm.
your child has dyslexia. Then it's like things became like a light bulb came on for the
Right,
kids. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's power in knowing and diagnosing exactly what's going on. And it doesn't mean you don't have faith to believe for their healing either.
Absolutely,
That's
but
a
maybe their
misconception.
purpose is in that too, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not doesn't mean it's a negative, it's just how do you direct it towards their purpose and help them manage through life. Also, left-handed, they used to not want people to be left-handed. So, you know
see, they say left-handed people are some of the smartest people.
yes, we are.
Oh, you are lefty. Okay.
But
Well,
my
listen.
twin is right-handed, so but a lot of times they used to make you tie your left this was way before, but I've read stories how they wanted you to be right-handed, and because it was something wrong if you were left-handed. And so,
Oh my goodness.
there's beauty in everything, and love on each other. Stop judging, stop
Yeah.
judging.
Yes, yes. Well, we could go on and have this conversation. We will be checking back in throughout the next coming months before July 9th, but I want to share the load. The sixth annual Sound Minds Mental Health Awareness and Solutions Conference. It is a hybrid event, so you can register now. You can register online or to be in person. We hope you'll be in the Chicagoland area because we will be at the Chicago Oaklawn Hilton on 95th and Cicero. I'm kind of giving a roundabout address pretty much, but that's Chicago, Illinois, July 9th, 2026. We are sharing the load, learning and lifting and building together. And I'm really excited. We're going to pack the house. I don't know how many we have room for, but space is limited. So do not miss out on registering for the Sound Minds Mental Health Awareness and Solution Conference July 9th. And I'd be amiss if I did not mention that coming up at my own church, there
Mhm.
is a conference called Unmasked Mental Health Conference 2026. We are going to really have a 2 day conference. CEU hours are available for those who need them, your clinicians. So it's going to be a power packed time. Unmasked Mental Health Conference, that's May 29th and the 30th of 2026. You can register and go online. That is my personal church, Disciples Church in Tinley Park, Illinois. It was been phenomenal the last couple years, and I know you all won't want to miss out on that. So, hey, resources, tools, conferences, education, advocacy, it is here. You do not have to walk through journeys alone.
Yes, and take a mental health day and attend these conferences.
Yes.
You have those days, take them. They are for you to pour into you. So many times we think, oh, the job's not going to get done. I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I got to go to work. We don't take those days that we earn, that are part of our salary, right? So
Yes. Yes.
just be proactive and so you don't have to be reactive.
Yes. Well, thank you, Tanya, for the conversation today. I think it's good. I don't think, I know I'm excited about the Sound Minds Mental Health Awareness and Solutions Conference. You all, please, please, please register, follow us. And all month we'll be talking about mental health in the very, very month of May. We will talk to you all very soon. So share the load.
And can I ask a quick
Yes, go,
question?
Tanya. Go ahead.
This song, Maybe, who's singing that? Whose
My
song is it?
son, love Isaac Robinson, is singing that
I
song.
thought that was John Legend. All
Did
right,
you?
Isaac.
Oh,
Yes, I was like, did
that's
she I wonder if she got permission to play that song.
yes, that's
You know
Isaac's
how
song.
my mind goes just into the whole
Absolutely.
communications and all that stuff, but I was like,
Yes.
"Wow, that is so nice."
Maybe this will be the
Okay, Isaac.
start of something. Yes.
I don't know why it
Okay.
reminds me of John Legend. It was like,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
Isaac."
Well, he is a
Is that
recording
on,
artist.
Apple Music? Is it streaming
It's
or
on all streaming platforms.
okay.
Yes. And I
Oh,
love the
add
song.
that to my
That's
playlist
permission.
today.
Yes. Let me go
Music is
ahead
my
and
therapy, so
let's go
thank
ahead and
you.
play it out. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, love you.
Oh, why is it not playing?
It's
Can you
playing.
hear it?
I hear it, yep.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, hold on a minute. Why is it not? Can you hear it, Tanya?
I can.
You
Yes.
can hear it? I can't hear it at
Bye.
all. Maybe. Have a nice day, everybody.